You're on board the Newstrack. The Modi government is working on cryptocurrency regulations and a bill on digital money which could come as early as the winter session at the end of the month. Today, a parliamentary panel headed by former Minister of State for Finance Jayant Sinha met with representatives from crypto exchanges and asset councils and various other regulatory stakeholders. This meeting comes just 48 hours after Prime Minister Modi chaired a comprehensive meeting on the way forward for cryptocurrency regulation in India.
3 days, 2 high-powered meetings. The first chaired by the Prime Minister himself. The second comprising MPs from across the political spectrum, stakeholders and experts. For the Modi government, cryptocurrencies are suddenly a top priority. Given the exponential growth the investments have seen in this unregulated asset, with some estimates claiming 10 crore Indian investors with a whopping 8,000 crore rupees invested in the volatile cryptocurrencies. With no law currently governing the sector, calls for a legal framework are getting louder. The demand this evening in the parliamentary panel meet was clear. Ensure the security of investors' money. MPs also flagged the full-page ads by crypto players in dailies, saying they attracted gullible investors who could fall prey to cryptos as they did to Ponzi schemes. There is, however, an understanding that crypto technology cannot be stopped. But there is still no consensus on who will govern and regulate the sector. The biggest issue, treating cryptos as a currency, alternate to the rupee, is simply not acceptable to the government. The volatility and the huge risk are also non-starters. Thirdly, the use of cryptos as a money laundering and terror financing tool also poses a clear and present threat to authorities. This besides the fact that major public use cases is yet to be firmed up. The two regulators which currently oversee the financial sector have made clear their discomfort in dealing with cryptos. While the RBI has called the cryptos a serious concern for macroeconomic and financial stability, SEBI has said that cryptos cannot be used as a commodity and has even banned financial advisors from recommending them. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's high-level meeting on Saturday clearly showed that the government has not closed its door to cryptos and is considering a law to regulate it. However, the issue is not just financial but has security connotations, with the Home Ministry being an active part of the discussions. The panel also looked at the need to ensure investor protection laws, for which the government is already in talks with market players and domain experts. There is also consensus that the technology is evolving too fast and that the policies could not be formed in isolation without international inputs. There is also expectations that a bill governing cryptos may be tabled in Parliament during the winter session with a proposal to treat them as an asset class. However, the situation remains challenging for the government as well as the market players. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
I want to go across now live to Rahul Srivastava, our National Affairs Editor, who's tracking this crucial meeting for us. There seems to be a sudden upping of gears in the government when it comes to crypto regulations. Can you give us a sense of how these deliberations went and what the various MPs who are members of this parliamentary committee had to say after the representatives were made by people who came from the crypto industry?
Rahul, members of the crypto exchanges, members from the Blockchain and Crypto Asset Council, CII members, and a group of IIM alumni who have done a group study on cryptocurrencies and their play all across the country. They were all present in the meeting at the Standing Committee on Finance, and they made a presentation on the ground situation across the globe and also in India as far as cryptocurrencies and the various metrics are concerned. Now, interestingly, most of the questions to these people who were part of the blockchain and cryptocurrencies were from members. They were asking that how is it a secure regime? the security was a major concern. Members like Salvador of the TMC, Ambika Soni of the Congress Party, Manish Tiwari and others wanted to know that what are the regulations in place. In fact, Salvador mentioned it specifically that it's almost like the Ponzi scam and the Ponzi matrix in the country, where there were virtually no regulations while it bled the people. And that is why there was a unanimous view within the committee that maybe if a technology does not need to be denied or banned completely as China has done, there is definitely a need for regulation. That remained the underline. But how to proceed from there on, there was a bit of ambiguity both among the representatives of the industry and also the government. Because remember, Rahul, that the government definitely has moved, the government and I think even the Parliamentary Committee have moved one lifetime, it seems, because in February, March this year, there was a likelihood of a bill which was banning cryptocurrencies and creating a domestic digital currency after the RBI was averse to cryptocurrencies in 2018 had banned them. There is a sea change now that for the first time in the history of this country, a parliamentary panel discussed cryptocurrencies and met the representatives of the industry. That's a sea change. But I think it's a very, very early time. A lot needs to be done. A lot of consultation needs to take place. As one of the senior members in the panel said very clearly, that cryptocurrency is something which exists on the internet. Internet cannot be regulated. So something which exists between two people or large number of people on the internet in an indefinite form, how the government will create regulations is a difficulty. But one important element is that the standing committee is going to call representatives of the government very soon. And one element that almost all the members in the standing committee were unanimous is that the government needs to create a regulation on as far as cryptocurrencies and their direct interface with the economy is concerned. That is one element which is a very certain thing, that nobody is for a ban, and some kind of a regulatory mechanism for cryptocurrencies interface with the real economy is concerned.
Okay, we'll leave it over there. It's interesting to see how this thinking in government evolves. Rahul Srivastav there reporting on this big meeting between the crypto exchanges and the parliamentary panel. Sudden upping of gears just over the last few days. Meanwhile, there's no respite from the toxic air in the National Capital Region. The Supreme Court has now directed the centre to hold an emergency meeting to deal with air emergency. The top court, the centre, the state governments of Delhi, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh are asked to address the causes of pollution within 24 hours and submit an action plan by Wednesday morning.
Hold emergency centre states meet. Stop non-essential construction. Regulate transport and traffic. Stop polluting power plants. Implement work from home. The anti-pollution prescription of a Supreme Court bench led by Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramanna, which concluded that construction, industry, traffic and stubble burning are major culprits in polluting Delhi. The top court had some harsh observations for the Kejriwal government over its attempt to pass the buck, rapping it for not doing enough to curb the pollutants and devoting resources instead in advertisements. The top court even warned that it can audit Delhi government's revenue and spending on advertisement drive amid air emergency. The Delhi government also faced flack for blaming the civic body MCD for lack of road sweeping machine.
Don't give us rhetoric and long-term plans. Give us facts, figures and emergency solutions. That is what the court has asked the Delhi NCR states as well as the central government with regard to air pollution in the capital city.
The BJP was quick to accuse Kejriwal government of wasting money in advertisement drives for self-promotion and failing Delhiites.
अरविंद केजरीवाल हर बार की तरह, चाहे वो कोरोना का मामला हो, चाहे वो ऑक्सीजन का मामला हो, हर मामले में फेल हुए और अपनी नाकामी दूसरों पर फोड़ते हैं। आप फेल सरकार हो और अपनी फेलियर को छुपाते हुए आप सिर्फ विज्ञापन के जरिए आप अपनी सरकार चला रहे हैं।
Delhi government told the top court that it is ready to implement lockdown in Delhi, but claimed it will be meaningless if NCR states don't reciprocate.
सरकार हर तरह के कदम उठाने को तैयार है। केंद्र सरकार के साथ मिलकर के, सभी राज्यों के साथ मिलकर के लॉकडाउन के लिए भी तैयार है। सुप्रीम कोर्ट सारी चीज़ों को सुनने के बाद जो भी डायरेक्शन करता है, दिल्ली सरकार उसे लागू करेगी।
Meanwhile, Delhi's air quality remains in very poor category. A thick blanket of smog engulfed the city, despite schools, colleges and construction sites getting shut for 7 days.
दिल्ली हवा इस कदर जहरीली हो चुकी है और दिल्ली वालों के लिए हवा इतना बड़ा मुद्दा बन चुका है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में अब इस मामले की सुनवाई हो रही है। और अगर आज के एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स की बात करें तो 318 है। कल भी कमोबेश इसी तरीके के हालात थे। हालांकि जो स्मोक की चादर है वो धीरे धीरे दिल्ली में अब दिखाई नहीं दे रही है पिछले 1 से 2 दिन में। उसकी वजह हवाओं का चलना है।
Can the Supreme Court mandated meet for Centre, Delhi, Punjab, Haryana and UP help the capital fight the gas chamber? Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where we wrap up the Newstrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look